Yo, GameLeapers, how are we? Coach Cheats back at it, and 11.2 is already a few days away, so we're going to give you the 20 best champions for the upcoming patch, so you know exactly who to play for free LP. With all the champion and item changes, it is essential to stay up to date, and we are here to do just that. Now, I want to know which champion you have had success with in Season 11 thus far. Maybe the Runar's Hurricane changes put some of you ADC mains back on the map, or maybe you've picked up a new champion because your favorite got gutted. As always, guys, I'm going to tell you to check out our website, GameLeap.com, not because I have to, well, that's a lie, I kind of do have to, but it is the best resource you have to learn everything there is to know about League. You see, the truth, guys, is that we care about you improving, and our exclusive content is designed to do just that, so do not waste any time when this video ends and head on over there, links in the description and comment section. Alright, starting off the countdown, guys, we have Zed, and you might think I'm drunk from watching the Pro Guides ads for the 50th time, but here's the thing, Umbral Glaive will be 200 gold cheaper next patch, and this is just huge for Zed. You will hit your lethality power spike earlier, making it easier for you to kill your opponent over and over. Your roaming is stronger because you just one-shot wards, and the 15 ability haze shouldn't go unnoticed. With the attack damage as well, you get all of this for 2600 gold. If you then combine this with boosted lucidity, which now give 20 haze for just 900 gold, your cooldown will be off the charts, and your early to mid-game spike will be crazy. But let me say that you can't send your shurikens to Mars and expect to pop off still. Stylish. Up next, guys, we have JHIN, and if you want a lane bully that also excels in teamfights, then in 11.2, JHIN is a great pick. Now, you won't be able to skate around the map as much next patch because Gale Force's active will be on a bigger cooldown, but I have the solution. GameLeap.com. Oh, I'm actually meant to say that later. Whoops. I meant to say Ingenious Hunter. You see, Ravenous Hunter is getting nerfs next patch, so won't be as effective, and at full Ingenious stacks, your Gale Force will be on a 67-second cooldown. Yes, you have to give up a bit of Omnivamp, but it's far less important than having a dash every minute or so. Coming in at number 18, GameLeapers, we have OLAF, and despite the nerfs to Gore Drinker and the Viking himself, if you want to dominate the jungle in 11.2, just keep picking him. Like, what is more terrifying than a Ragnarok Olaf charging at you? Well, I would actually say Riot's balanced team, but yeah, Olaf might be copying it next patch as well, but these changes seem pretty pin, just like me, I guess. Alright, so your healing, the lower you are, is down, but your W's lifesteal is up. Yes, it's an overall nerf, but even with the new Gore Drinker, Conqueror, and the healing you still have, you have all the damage and healing you ever need. Okay, the 17th pick on our countdown, guys, is YASUO, and this half-brother's win rate is now at 50%. Seeing as every YASUO I have in my games goes 0-10, this win rate is unbelievable. Goes to show how strong Yas is. The fact you now only need 2 items to reach 100% crit is insane, and this is pretty easy to attain on Yas because your early game is strong, unless of course you forget the enemy team has a jungler. Now guys, build an Immortal Shield Bow and Infinity Edge and try to tell me YASUO shouldn't be on this list. And before everyone tests this out and feeds and then roast me. Alright, ahead of YASUO we have Darius, guys, and I know a lot of you will be happy because Riot are nerfing Darius next patch. Unfortunately, this won't stop him from being played and banned, so it's kind of a lose-lose to everyone, to be honest. Your passive damage at 5 stacks will be lower, and though this might equate to a longsword's worth of damage in the early game and a pickaxe late game, there is one saving grace: Stride Breaker. With this item, you are unstoppable. Even with a little less power in your passive, you will still be able to gap close and slow and catch up to that enemy champion trying to run away. Now coming in at number 15, we have IVERN, who will continue to be the best support jungler in 11.2 and one of the best champions on the Rift. You may look out of it when you're waddling around just pressing E on your teammates and Daisy, but doing so little actually does so much. The thing is, guys, when Riot buffed the Enchanter, Mythic, and Legendary items, IVERN got buffed too. Cheaper, easier to build, and with the extra 5 haze from cooldown boost, you can spam your spells and enhance your carries like no other. Now this next pick is going to surprise some of you, and that's ALISTAR. Now the reason the cow is on here is because I have bovinophobia, a fear of cows. Now that's legit true, I'm scared of them, but the real reason ALISTAR is a top 20 champion next patch is because tank supports now have 2 more viable mythics, and these are Turbo, Chemtank, and Frostfire Gauntlet. Now they will still be relatively expensive at 2800 gold, but Chemtank's active in particular is amazing for a hard engaged champion like ALISTAR. When you give it a pop, the movement speed will make it almost impossible for the enemy team to stop you landing game-winning headbutt pulverizers. Up next, guys, we have GALIO, who at the moment has close to a 60% win rate in high elo, so why isn't he number 1? Well, if you're a fan of mid GALIO, Rocket Bell's active is getting nerfed, and it's an important part of your kit, so naturally when this gets hit, you get hit as well. You'll still be a great pick though into all of the strong mage mid laners at the moment because of your shield and tankiness. And this strength also makes GALIO one of the best supports, as well as the Chemtank and Frostfire changes. You could use the Chemtank active with your Taunt or your E and Frostfire passive with your passive. Plenty of options, and these mean plenty of W's are on the cards for sure. Alright, coming in at number 12, guys, we have Tristana, and this rocket jumper will still be one of the premier AD carries next patch. If you were building Gale Force, stop. Kraken Slayer, Stormrazor, Infinity Edge. These 3 items are where it's at. Now, as Tristana, your range the longer the game goes is unmatched, but you have a massive advantage over other marksmen. You can all in easily with your rocket jump and explosive charge, not to mention the reset, but you can also peel for yourself. You don't have to rely on TSM Fan 69, first timing Thresh. Now up next we have ELISE, guys, who is getting nerfed in 11.2, oh my god. Hey, no reason to panic. Yes, your Spider Q is going to deal less damage the more points you put in it, but it's still very close to what it is right now. But if you take Blue, Gromp, and Red, and Gank, it's all the same. You get First Blood, Snowball out of control, and trust me guys, you're not going to think, if only I had 20 more damage in my Q at level 9, you'll be too busy spam pinging your feeding lanes. Now starting off the top 10 we have Vayne, and the Phantom Dancer change, yeah, it's actually a bit of a pain. So for 2500 gold, which is what it is right now, you get enough attack speed and enough of everything else to be happy. Well in 11.2, you will have to farm for another 100 gold for an extra 5% attack speed, which isn't really better. Now remember that Kraken Slayer and Infinity Edge, 2 of your core items, cost 3400 gold each. You don't want to have to spend any more for your second item than you have to. And yeah, right, increasing the price of PD for nothing significant seems pretty troll. Now coming in next at number 9, guys, we have CAMILLE, and with a nerf to Darius in 11.2, CAMILLE would be an even better option if you're someone who wants to 1v9, and who doesn't. You can set up ganks, you can lock down champions with your ultimate, you're an amazing split pusher, and your best build, which is Trinity Force, Ravenous Hydra, and Steris Gauge, will continue to be the best 3-item build in the game. Once you get to this point, it is GG. Now moving on, guys, to number 8, we have KAISA, and like Vayne, KAISA is on the receiving end of an unwanted change, but will still be one of the best AD carries. The Runar's Hurricane in 11.2 will cost 2600 gold, and yeah, it will give 5% more attack speed, but again, this just means you have to stay out on the map for longer for this power spike. The great thing for KAISA though is that you come online big time once you get Kraken Slayer. I'm sure you've all seen the KAISAs in your games take off once they buy this mythic. I mean, imagine Mr. Mechanics with Kraken Slayer, he'd be nuts. Okay, ahead of KAISA we have Echo, and Echo was in our top 5 last time, so why number 7 in 11.2? Well, Rocket Belt's active is getting nerfed, meaning you have less mobility in fights, but as Echo, you have enough mobility anyway, right? It's like the Rocket Belt active is just overkill. Now, whether you play Echo mid or jungle, you are the slipperiest champion in League. Your early game is weak for sure, but how infuriating is it to play against an Echo with just a couple of items? The increased AP in Rocket Belt from 11.1 will still be there, so your damage is hella high, as will be your win rate. Coming in next at number 6, guys, we have THRESH, and like I talked about for ALISTAR, THRESH has a couple of new mythic options in 11.2. Now you're good enough as it is, but in certain games you might want to spice things up and build a chem tank or a frostfire. To all the support mains out there, what do you think of the new mythic choices? Now the top 5, guys, we have arrived, and so has the call for you to check out our website GameLeap.com. If you want to give yourself the best chance of getting to Challenger, then our site is all you need. Simply click on one of the links in the description or comments, sign up, and watch the magic unfold. Alright, in at number 5 we have MALPHITE, and after nerf, Malph remains rock solid. You see, what's great next patch for MALPHITE is that Sunfire Aegis' mythic passive is getting changed. So instead of giving 5 ability haze per legendary item, you get 5% tenacity and slow resist. So full build, this will be 20%. There's also the possibility that Frostfire is legit again, seeing as it will be 400 gold cheaper. Whatever the mythic of choice is, Malph will still be one of the best and most reliable champions. Singing her way into the 4th spot in our countdown, guys, is SERAPHINE, whose win rate is among the highest in the game right now, and that's thanks to the buffs back in 10.25 and the extra cooldown in Lucidity boots. Oh, and of course the Moonstone Renewer Ardent Sensor and Staff of Flowing Water buffs help too. You can spam spells on repeat, never run and if things get sticky, you have your game-changing ultimate. There's a reason why SERAPHINE has one of the best support win rates, guys, because she's broken. Okay, the top 3, and at number 3 we have last patch's runner-up, and that's KHA'ZIX. Now the Duskblade change has not impacted KHA'ZIX at all, and Bugsplat is still the best jungler on the Rift. The isolation damage, the lack of counterplay, like it makes you want to pull your hair out. Maybe that's why I'm losing it. Now Riot are in love with KHA'ZIX, guys, so if there was ever a time to play him, it is now. Well, and always. Alright, the runner-up to the best champion in 11.2 is FIZZ, and FIZZ was the number 1 pick last patch, so what's changed? Well, Ravenous Hunter will offer less sustain, it's just that. So in a game you might die a couple more times or not be as impactful because you're too low and you can't sustain back up, but you still have some of the highest kill potential at levels 3 and 6, cooldown boots are busted, you can rush Azonias into hard matchups, and the cooldown you get from Leandries means you have your E up almost permanently. This will still be, well I guess it's arguably now because he's number 2, the best mid laner and 1v9er on offer. Okay guys, the best champion in League for 11.2, and it's time for Who Am I? Sponsored by ProGuides. I'm a big fan of bandages. I hate it when Perks picks me in the LCS. The 11.1 changes to my passive mean I have the biggest 2-item power spike. The more attack speed I build, the more Qs and Ws I can throw out. And finally, my late game is the best out of all champions. Guys, the #1 champion for 11.2, and thanks so much for watching the video. Please leave a like and subscribe and turn on all notifications, is YONE. This has been KHA'ZIX, and until tomorrow's episode, peace.